Yes, marital rape does exist. In marriage, sex should be about love making, guys, and not by force. If the woman says, no honey, I am tired or I'm sick and all that, please allow her to rest. No means no. Even in marriage, respect her opinion, and also let her respect your opinion. And I also know that maybe some ladies too want to force their husbands to sleep with them. It means no. If he or she says no, please let it be that way.
Well, marital rape is when you have sex with somebody without his or her consent. And if you ask if it exists, yes, it does exist, especially in our African context, because we believe that the woman should be obedient, subjective to the husband. So even when it does happen, we don't even know, nobody accepts that it does happen. A situation whereby a woman is tired and say no to the husband, and the husband insists and sleeps with her. That is pure marital rape. But it's so unfortunate that nobody reports that. You can't even talk about it. I can imagine me going to my mother and saying my husband slept with me. Like, everybody's going to look at me like, what is wrong with you? What is he supposed to do? So it does exist.
To me, I think marital rape is rape, because in Western world, marital rape is seen as a criminal offense, and the victim involved is either penalized by penalties or by jail term. But in Nigeria, I think that the Nigerian legal law should begin to see marital rape as a criminal offense in Nigeria, because either by penalizing the victim or by increasing jail term, because I think the psychological and emotional effect of a woman being raped by her husband is also the same by the emotional psychological feeling of a single girl who was just being raped. So I think marital rape is criminal.
Yes, I believe in marital rape. Your wife is supposed to be your friend in the first instance. So if you don't have a relationship with your wife, then you are making mistake as a man. If you marry a wife just to exert authority on the woman as a slave, it is very wrong. Everything that a man must do with the wife must, have a very equal consent from the wife and the husband. So you don't take authority just because you went to the parents' house and married her into your house, and you have authority to treat her like a toy. The most important thing there is that whatever thing you're doing with your wife as far as sex is concerned should be on consent.
There's nothing like a marital rape, because when once a man is married to a woman, according to Bible and customs and all of that, the woman is obligated to the man at all times for sexual satisfaction or for love making. But in some cases, rare cases, where the woman is not feeling too well or vice versa, I think it's up to the man to understand with her. But there's some other ways a man can go to please himself, not just by the sexual way that we all know. There are some other ways a man can go it, or the woman can help the man to satisfy him. So, in a nutshell, I would say marital rape does not really exist.
Okay, my opinion on marital rape is that sex on its own has to be consensual. You have to have the consent of the woman and the man to come together and make love. So when it has turned into a forceful thing, then it's rape, whether you're married or not. So I really condemn it.
I don't believe in marital rape because I married my wife, and my wife is my wife. She will not deny me sex because I take responsibility of marrying her, taking care of her, providing for her, providing for the family. So why would she deny me sex? I don't think there's something like that.
I believe that once a man and a woman is together, married, there should be a mutual understanding between the two of them in terms of having sex, making love. There shouldn't be any forceful
way to have your wife.
Take for instance, if I'm a man that is given to drinking excessively, when I come back very drunk, and I will not expect my wife, you know, to manage me like that, no matter how, you know, how irritating. So I'll be talking, cigarette, and beer will be oozing out from my mouth, and I will use the same mouth to kiss my wife. And when she rejects, with the influence of alcohol, I will start beating my wife and, you know, having carnal knowledge of her without her consent. It's practically wrong, very, very wrong. Before man and before God, it is very, very wrong.
I would say no, it's a contributing factor, but it is not a major cause. I think the major cause of rape is the inability of the man to self-control. If you do not teach your child how to delay gratification as a child, the child will grow up and not knowing how to accept rejection and objection from others. If your child learns how to, you know, take in no as a child, the child will grow up having to respect other people's opinion. And I know that most people that, you know, try to rape others probably might also have been victims of sexual abuse growing up. So provocative dressing, no, is not a major cause. I think the major cause is mindset of the individual, not to be able to self-control himself. Thank you.
But I've never heard of being raped at a pool, because maybe because somebody's mind is being controlled there or whatever. The whole thing about rape is someone's inability to control his or her mind. And where does this start from? It's from childhood. You see a lot of mothers say, I can't say, when my son or my daughter gets wants this, he gets it. You should teach them, no, you don't always get what you want. And if they grow up knowing that it comes a time when I can't get what I want, I'm sure they'll be able to control themselves in the future, even when it gets to saying when someone says no to whatever, whether girlfriend or husband or whatever. That's my own take. Thank you.
And about dressing, as a man, like what I'm wearing now, I'm wearing a short, and you can't say because of the way I'm dressing a woman should rape me. Everybody has his or her own freedom of dressing, and that shouldn't provocate anybody. We should have our mindset pinned on avoiding any sort of forceful sex, because sex on its own, it is a very, very spiritual thing. So forcing anyone into making love or having sex is totally wrong. There is no reason or idea you can bring up to say, okay, this is why it happened. We shouldn't keep saying because of the women dress a certain way or they dress this way, that's why they were raped. It is wrong. It's totally wrong. What we should do as men is to hold ourselves, for crying out loud. What is there in having consent? I think it's only an idiot or someone that is really, really stupid that would go through the forceful way of having sex. Yeah.
Coming to indecent dressing, well, with the way the world is evolving now, dressing sometimes could cause rape or could cause one nursing rape in his mind. But I would also say that every man should be able to control his urge or control his himself. You know, seeing a woman dressed in an indecent way shouldn't push you to do the abnormal thing or start thinking of raping. Is not good, because by law, traditional customs, rape is not good. It's not advised in any way at all. So I would say that indecent dressing shouldn't push you, but it's also good that we advise our young girls, the ladies and all of that, to always, you know, dress up well, where it will not expose their bodies and all of that, because devil can use anyone at any point in time, but it is not an excuse for you to do that. So that's my take. Thank you very much.
Provocative dressing is one of the factors that contributes to rape. But we should understand that when you have that very nature in you, as a man who goes about, that is compulsive skate chasers, everything on skate you must, test. Everything on skate you must test. If you're walking along the road, you're looking how women dress or so and so on and so forth. That is wrong. But a situation where a woman dress to entice men, you dress to draw this type of image in their subconscious mind, you are the person that is looking for trouble.
Provocative dressings cannot cause rape. My own opinion. A rapist will always be a rapist, whether well dressed or covered. Because you can see some men go on to rape a child. What do you say about that? Will you say raping a child is because she's not well dressed? So I don't believe provocative dressing can cause a man to rape a woman.
Okay, look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Fathers are even raping their daughters. Look at it. The smaller, a child of 3 months, a child of 8 months, a child of 1 year, that is, all these things is very terrible. So I think that this rape issue is something to do with mindset. It's something to do with the kind of spirit that have entered into a man, and the man has no control over it. So we should persecute those type of people that commit such atrocities.